Hey YouTube, Ben Ochart here. How are you? I walked into Petsmart to pick up some test strips. Some strips that I used in that last video I released about testing for nitrates. And I run into this big display of what are called glofish. And I know a while back they used to put dyes and stuff on tetras and make them look real pretty. So when kids come into the fish store and, hey, mommy, daddy, get me some of these neon bright. But I don't know how are they making these glowfish? I mean, I asked one of the employees there, and she couldn't give me an answer. Was it a genetic modification? What were they using dyes? What were they doing here to sort of dress up these fish and make them marketable? And how does this impact the fish? I mean, are we talking like genetically modified food that, it has great shelf appeal, but might not contain the minerals and vitamins of, let's say, a food that is grown without a genetic modification in a organic soil? Or I mean, are we diverting off into some sort of Frankenfish just to create some shelf appeal so these fish get bought and create profits for the store? What are your thoughts about glowfish? Do you own them? What do you think about them? What do you think about them in general? I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are on that kind of a product that's being pushed by some of these stores. They've got a big marketing campaign, a nice signage, and the fish admittedly are kind of pretty. The betta that I saw were actually pretty attractive, pretty interesting looking. And but is it genetic? Is it something that is injected? I don't know. Some kind of water type of additive. I don't know how they do it. At any rate, share your thoughts below. I'd be curious to hear what you have to say about them. Glowfish, next big thing, huh? Here are my 2 cents. The large and colorful display that you see when you walk in seems to be trying to sell us on the idea that these fish were actually born this way. Okay, so they're telling us that there's nothing really injected and that it's very safe for the fish, but I just don't see this kind of a thing occurring in nature. I mean, maybe perhaps we certainly see some beautiful colors in saltwater fish, and but it would seem like this would be an ideal coloration for the predator who's trying to go after a fish. But I'm suspecting that there's some sort of Frankenfish science at work here.
It's alive. It's alive. It's moving. It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive.
Well, we're used to the tetras. We've been seeing these tetras for a while, and I guess some of the hardcore fish keepers they just sort of wink at them and go, "Oh, okay," and just a marketing thing. You want to give your product some type of a shelf appeal, and you want the little kids to, hey, mommy, get me one of these. Look how pretty, and admittedly they are pretty. I mean, when I went over to this brand new betta display, and I'd seen the tetras before, but I'd never seen the betta. And I've got to admit, these colors are popping. I mean, these are some pretty nice fish. There's some pretty good shelf appeal here. I'm sure they're probably going to sell a lot of them. And they've jacked up the prices considerably compared to the tetras. Bettas usually cost more than tetras normally anyway. But you got to admit, that's pretty colorful. And I guess you have to use a black light to bring out these sort of day glow neon colors. And, they're really pushing them hard over at Petsmart, and I guess that's the new big thing. It seems a little gimmicky, and I'm wondering if it affects the lifespan of the fish to be modified this way. But they're definitely dedicating a lot of shelf space. My advice to anyone who wants to go in this direction, I don't know, maybe you should consider something like this. This is something I saw on the internet, and the good thing about this fish here is there's no need for filtration or no worries about nitrate spiking, and really the food costs are very, very minimal. So you might want to consider fish like these. Pretty colorful and very low maintenance. So that's my rant on glowfish. Do they have a place in the hobby? Hey, if you like them and that's your thing, that's okay. Hey, you know what? Go with it. It's not hurting anything, I guess. But I don't know. Kind of a Frankenfish, in my opinion. It's really just for the sales appeal, I guess, just to move them off the shelf. They're doing stuff with them chemically. How does this affect the fish? Are these fish going to have as long a life as one that wasn't altered? Or are they going to be dying earlier because of the alterations? I don't know. I don't know. But what are your thoughts? Share them below. I'd like to hear it. And be sure to rate, comment, and all that good stuff. And maybe I'll see you on Saturday at the live stream. Thank you so much, my friends. You are appreciated.